Good morning, YouTube, although it's currently the afternoon. Welcome back to the show. In today's video, we do a little fantasy booking. I give X and Sam the keys to the kingdom. I say, right, if you guys were in charge of Newcastle, who would be your first signing? Who would be the manager you appoint? And what would you do with the money? I think it's going to be very interesting to see what Newcastle do in real life. Amanda Staveley isn't exactly the biggest name in football. In fact, I don't think anyone ever heard of her before she joined Newcastle. So it'll be interesting to see what her and her other directors do in terms of getting a new manager in and signing players. Obviously, as I mentioned in the previous video, I am still very excited to see what happens. And honestly, I cannot wait to see the back of Steve Bruce. If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe, and all those good things. And yeah, enjoy the video.
You guys get a proper director of football coupled with the manager. And of course, I have a fear that you guys might even go for Van der Sar and Ten Hag, because that would be a perfect combination, because those two guys really have shaken
Could work
European
well.
football.
Could work well.
You
The
see,
thing
yeah,
is, there's so much that we can speculate on, and there's so much we can talk about because there's no rumors. The only interviews that I've seen so far was Amanda Staveley. She's the new chief executive of the club, the only female chief executive of a football team as well in the Premier League. So when we speak about Saudi human rights issues and all that, they have put a female in charge of a football team. And if you just think about the culture in Saudi Arabia, not letting women drive, not letting them vote, those type of social issues. This is a big thing as well, putting a female in charge of the football club and giving that female all the money to spend on this football club. But anyway, apart from her just speaking about the plans to win the Premier League and to qualify for Champions League, which I think any owner would definitely say. I mean, even if you're not Saudi wealthy, if you're rich enough to buy a football club in the Premier League and you get in front of Sky Sports, you'll say, look, our ambition is to win something, our ambition is to qualify, our ambition is to do well. But she hasn't said anything else. She hasn't said, okay, this is the manager we want to bring in, these are the players we want to sign. So as Man United fans, if Newcastle came knocking for Paul Pogba, what would you say?
Yo,
you can go.
You can go, Sam.
Yeah.
You crazy, nigga. You crazy.
Yeah, I know I'm crazy, but I look at a 38 game season.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can go.
Hell no, bro. For me, I'd be very hurt. Pogba's my favorite player at Manchester United. So you can pick another team. McTominay. Yeah. McTominay. You guys can have Scott McTominay.
I'll take McTominay. At this point, I'll take McTominay over Jeff Hendrick any day. Literally any player we sign is an improvement to the squad. So I'll take Phil Jones at this rate.
Whoa.
Okay, maybe not.
Whoa, that's deep.
Let's do a little fantasy football here then. If you guys you switch on FIFA, you rig the game so you've got money bags, you know what I mean? You've got £1 billion to spend, and you go into the January transfer window. Okay, not really considering what Newcastle have or whatever, who is the one player that you'd buy? That you'd be like, this is the guy that is like the statement signing? Because think about it, Manchester City, when they took over, they got Robinho. He was the statement signing that kicked that off. When Chelsea got bought over, I can't remember back that far, but I think like Joe Cole or Wayne Bridge or one of them was like the big signing that was like, it was big for them at the time.
Yeah.
When Wolves got taken over, they got Ruben Neves. That was the statement signing for them when they got taken over. So who would you make your statement signing?
For me, bro, it's simple, bro. There's a disgruntled number 9 in the white. He's situated in North London, a white team, a team that wears white. That's situated
Harry
in
Kane.
North London. Yeah, I think Harry Kane, bro, would be a huge statement. I mean, your club has history, like I said. Like, I mean, him going to your club, and he's chasing Shearer's record. I mean, essentially, I think he can break that record. I think that would be a very solid acquisition. Like, if you guys could get like a Harry Kane, you guys you'd be raising your hands that, you know what, we coming for
Mean
top
business.
four, or even challenging for the title. That's just my opinion.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
and then
I would say I've looked at teams that have been taken over by new owners,
yeah,
and it hasn't always been rosy having the biggest signing being a forward player. I don't know if you can think of a team that has got a forward player that lifted the club, because obviously from recent history, I'm thinking about City, I'm thinking about PSG, and I'm thinking about the fact that even if you've got Mbappe, if you've got Neymar, if you've got Aguero, if you've got Dzeko, if you've got, there's a lot of people who came through that channel. Tevez, I genuinely think like if you're going to build and if you're going to build and have a big signing, let it be a player that impacts the team in a position which they are at the moment. So it's very different from taking over a club that's finishing fifth, that's trying to get in. And that's the difference where I think maybe people will look at PSG and think maybe because PSG was taking over at a certain time, but PSG wasn't finishing at the same position, you know. So for this team, I look at the team and I look at Shelby, Lascelles, Callum Wilson, Matt Ritchie, Hayden, and I'm thinking, where do you plug in someone of quality? And for me, it starts in the defense, or it starts with a key, or it starts with a manager, and then it then goes down. So if you talk about a signing, let's change the manager first for me, and then he gets to bring in his own personnel, because yeah, Bruce did say he isn't going to be, someone who doesn't know what the eventual outcome is happening here. But I'd rather have a manager who, goes in there and then says, okay, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one. I'll keep this one, I'll keep this one, I'll keep this one. So manager, I think, is the biggest role for me. If you will sign someone big.
yeah,
And then who's the manager?
yeah. Who
Uh,
exactly
that's
for you?
that's very difficult at the moment because we don't know which manager would want to come. But what we know about Antonio Conte is Antonio Conte wants money. Antonio Conte, like any top manager,
Don't we
Pep
all?
spends 100 million every season. So any top manager in this day and age, in this kind of football that we are playing, needs money. Um, Antonio Conte is the obvious choice in terms of choice at the moment. But if you're looking for a long-term thing, I don't know if he can actually build a team as well. I know he had problems with Juve when they had their docked points and stuff. But then, if we're talking about a manager bringing up a team, Conte is the only one I can think of at the moment. But my fear is they may start somewhere where it's an English manager, it's a familiar manager, Rogers or something. But
I'll take
um,
Rogers. But why is
I
why
don't
you
know,
why
but
are you scared of that? Why is an English manager the wrong choice? And I asked that because I know I said that there wasn't much speculation out, but just reading a couple of articles, the two names that have been thrown around to replace Steve Bruce is one Frank Lampard and two Steven Gerrard. So would you not consider either of them?
Hell no. To the no, 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 no
Why?
ways for me. Okay, first of all, Lampard, both of them, they're not experienced enough. I think your owners will come with very high expectations considering the amount of money that they're going to invest in the club. So I just feel as if you guys need someone who's proven. It's like same thing with Man City. When Man City had what's his name? This guy,
Huge.
Mark Hughes. Yeah, when they had Hughes, they were still they weren't really challenging for anything. It's only when they started getting serious coaches like your Mancinis and your
Mancini,
Pellegrinis of this world.
Pellegrini, yeah.
Yeah, that's when they actually started uh, taking off. You know, they first started off with winning a League Cup. I remember they were a team that used to win the League Cup very consistently. You know, and then from there the League Cup turned into FA Cups, and then those FA Cups turned into the Premier League. And so I just feel like you guys, you need a DOF coupled with a very experienced manager who can build, you know, because at the end of the day, you don't want to, because another thing is as well, if you've got a competent manager as well as a competent director of football, you'll also be able to unravel gems, hidden gems within your team, you know, players that you didn't even expect. Who's this kid? Like you just spoke about Santiago, who again?
Munoz.
Munoz. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Munoz might be like your new Ryan Giggs. Remember, with us
you
United
never
fans,
know.
Giggs started from the age of 17, and we watched him. Okay, I didn't watch him grow to be a man because I was still a child when he was 17. But essentially, our parents saw him grow. So I just feel like I echo Sam's sentiments as far as the coach is concerned. But yeah, there just needs to be structure. You know, that's the issue that United have at the moment. There isn't any structure. We just giving people who don't have experience the keys to the Bentley. Essentially, the Bentley should be driven by
It's
someone who knows
true.
how
It's
to drive.
true.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. Like Newcastle
yeah,
have they've sold in they've traded in the old Hyundai, and now
yeah,
they've got this Rolls Royce of a club now that's just
yeah,
ready to go. You'd think.
yeah.
And you need to have the right driver, you need to have the right person in charge, and I completely agree. I don't think Steve Bruce is the right man for the job. I've even in the a current Newcastle, he was never the right man for the job, even just the guy to keep you in the league. I don't believe Steve Bruce can even keep us in the league. So I would be very surprised if come the Spurs game in a week or so's time, if Steve Bruce is in charge, I would be very surprised. I would love to see. I mean, I wouldn't say no to a Steven Gerrard type manager, because I think he's done an incredible job at Rangers, and it would be interesting to see what he could do with a lot of money, with big expectations. But it could ruin his career. The weight of expectation could literally ruin the man's career if he fails or if he doesn't succeed in time. So if it was up to me, guys, I'll answer my own question. For a manager to come in, I would want Rafa back. I think Rafa would be an amazing appointment to grow a club.
Do you feel like Rafa, like during the tough times that the club has like been through, do you feel like the perfect manager who deserved this kind of opportunity is Rafa?
I think I know what you're getting at. Um, the thing was, Rafa was there through the tough times. When we
Yeah.
got relegated, he stayed in the championship with us. He got us promoted. He stayed another season. He would have continued if because he gave up good years of his managerial career to
Right?
stick with us, take us through the championship into the Premier League, and helped us stabilize in the Premier League. And then he went to Mike Ashley and said, "Okay, fine. I've got you guys promoted. I've got you settled in the Premier League again after one season. Where's my money? Like, can I now have at least 100 million or something to buy players?" And Mike Ashley didn't trust him and never gave it to him. Now, if he had to come back and you had to give him the keys to the kingdom now, and keys to literally the oil kingdom, um, I think he would make a massive success of it. But I also feel like, we also need to be like, okay, that chapter is over now. The Rafa era is over. It's time to move on. They always say you never go back. So yeah, it's a good question, Sam. I actually don't know how I would, if Rafa could come back, if he was available tomorrow, would I take him back? It's a good question. I'm not sure. But the player, one player that I would love to see sign, I know X, you said Harry Kane, but if I had to say, okay, this is going to be the marquee signing and the signing that will like sort of galvanize the club and say to the club, okay, this is the way forward. This is someone who symbolizes the future of this club. I would look no further than someone like Erling Haaland. To be honest, I think Haaland for
Oh,
me would is the type of player that is built to succeed in a club like Newcastle. It's he's a tough. He reminds me of Alan Shearer actually. What do you guys think of that?
yeah, I mean, Haaland is a gunman, man. Like, you're gonna get goals from that guy. I mean, for both club and for his country, Norway, he's just incredible, man. Especially for a guy of his stature. He's so tall, yet he's so bloody quick, bruh. Like, it's so crazy how fast he is for a guy of his
Man,
height. And as well, he one chance, one goal. He doesn't fuck around when he's in front of goal. So yeah, Haaland for me. And as well, he's also demanding crazy wages. Apparently, he wanted 800K per week from Chelsea, and then Chelsea said he must go suck it. So that's another thing that your club also needs to look at is the wage bill. You don't want to move like Manchester United, where you're just giving any Tom, Dick, and Harry three hundred
then
thousand
you
pounds
end
a
up with
week.
us. We end up with Alexis Sanchez on your books again. Then
You see what I'm saying? So it just goes down to how your team is run at the top. So for me, DOF manager, then as Sam mentioned, get a coach who will implement their style of football and then sign players who will suit that style of football.